How can I work with my baby that's not rolling over? Here I have my 4.5-month-old. If you would go to the pediatrician, and if I were to go to the pediatrician and say, hey, I'm concerned my baby's not rolling over, I would just get, though, your baby's fine. She's super social, happy. She talks. She's grabbing toys, playing. But she cannot roll any which direction. She can turn her head all the way to the side. But there's really just that pelvis doesn't go with her. And so should you be concerned? You should be concerned for lack of optimal development. I'm not concerned for her particular case for atypical development. Now, my last baby, yes, I was concerned for atypical development. There were other signs going on other than just not rolling over by 2.5, 3 months. And so I want to just go over with you how I'm going to work with my baby. I do not pretend to have all of Michelle's stuff memorized. And so with every baby, I got to get on and I got to go to the rolling over course for optimal development. And I haven't done it with her. I have done tummy time and the spine course and the grabbing the feet course. That's where she should be at right now, is grabbing the feet, but she wasn't quite ready for it. And as a result, I had to go backwards through developmental skills to see where we were missing milestones. So right now I'm in the rolling over course, and I'm just gonna this is what I do. I get the rolling over course, I watch the first exercise, okay, and then I just work with my baby. When I first started movement lesson, I spent 30 minutes on any exercise I saw Michelle do, or any hand movement. She didn't necessarily specify them as exercises. I just saw her like, here, do this move. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that for 30 minutes. And I found that in 30 minutes, I could really start telling a difference, and I was gaining more confidence in my ability to do movement lesson, because I just wasn't sure if I was doing it right. And I was afraid I was gonna hurt my baby. But one of the things that Michelle said in all her YouTube videos was, as long as you're gentle and touch with rotation, it'll work out. So I'm just gonna sit here and play with my baby. I'm just gonna work on this first exercise and see what happens. She's very stiff here in the pelvis. She does okay in the pelvis. The stiffness goes on and off. But more than the pelvis, she's just very stiff in the back area. She's not liking that. So I'm gonna be a little bit more gentle. See if I can find something for her to play with. Oh, to play with. Her. Just getting to where she can grab things. And I'm just gonna work with my baby. Very nice. And then slowly I would just work through the rolling over course for optimal development. Now, there have been cases with some of my children that I've done the course, but I don't get the performance of rolling over. I think that Alice will be able to do that. I think she'll be able to do the performance, no problem. But I have had other members of my kids where there have been other structural issues that they physically are unable to do the rolling over milestone. And as a parent, that's really discouraging as you go to therapy, stuff like that. Like, it's all about the performance. And if your child can't do the performance, well, then they miss the milestone. And I found a lot of hope with movement lesson because Michelle really emphasized the experience over performance. I could give my children the experience of rolling over and therefore have developmental progress without the performance. Performances are awesome. But for a child that has a more compromised system, that just, the performance is just going to be down the road if it's possible for that child. Now, going through the rolling over course, if I were to go over through the whole rolling over course and be like, yeah, that didn't work for my baby, she's not rolling over. Okay, well, it's not that it didn't work. She got the rolling over experience. So that I'm not worried about. I'll still see progress and development. But the second thing to take note is what Michelle's always emphasizing is the value in the evaluation. And she talks about the newborn movement assessment a lot. And if you're like me, you can do the assessment and then you're like, well, what do I do with that information? Like, I don't know what to do with it. Yeah, and that's where I took her assessment and I made it into like a number system, which you can't see very well there, and it's backwards, but I made it into a number system to where I could start gauging the quality of the rotation that I was feeling, and start finding imbalances in the system based on the NMA, and then as a result be guided on like where are the movement needs of my child and what is preventing a performance, if that child is possible of a performance, what's preventing that. And so right now with my baby, based off of her NMA, if I were to, and my number system, if I were to look at that, I could tell you right now, besides just needing help with rolling over, her left elbow doesn't rotate as well as the right. Her left knee doesn't rotate as well as the right. Her she has difficulty turning her head to the right more so than to the left. And where I found that she struggled the most, and when I say struggled the most, it's where I see the most imbalance in her system, the most imbalance in rotational abilities, is in her chest. The left side of her chest doesn't move as well as the right, and it's just very heavy, and the head is heavy. And when I mean heavy is like when you're working with your baby, you should just be able to come and pick them up. Now I've worked with her head a lot, and that was decent. That was a decent pickup. But it still just feels really heavy in my hands. I'm gonna come to this other side. And even as I'm doing this exercise, the first exercise in the rolling over course, I can feel that she doesn't want to cross midline here through her pelvis. And so that's just something I would work on with her, and just easily do it for 30 minutes, working on both sides. And if I'm in the zone, I can go a little bit longer. She's getting fussy and doesn't like it. But the assessment process is really, really valuable with the courses that Michelle teaches you. Now, if you just want to help your baby roll over and give them the experience, then you want to just get the rolling over course and work through that. And regardless of whether or not you have a performance, you're giving your child their body the experience of that milestone. But if you really want to know how to help your child go in deeper, and really like learn a valuable skill that works to help your child with development, you want to get into the Worried Parent Kit. There you get the NMA, and I teach you how to do this number system to have more success at home with that and to understand what you're looking at. You also get the Super Baby Boot Camp or the Movement Boot Camp if you have an older child. And that's just an awesome program that as soon as you get it, the first thing you want to do for the first 7 days is just go in and do that boot camp and get a feel for a movement lesson, work with your child, things like that, and get a feel for just what this technique is about. And then you'll look in your library and be like, holy cow, there's a lot of courses in here. I'm overwhelmed. What am I supposed to do? What am I, like, you all just take it one day at a time. And if you think about a baby when they're developing, they do it, it takes time. It takes an entire year for them to go through their milestones. And so don't expect to be able to give them 12 months worth of milestones in one day. Like, that's a lot on your baby system. We want to start at the beginning of development and just give them a solid foundation and then work through those milestones. And that's what I personally do in the support program, is help you through that. With the Worried Parent Kit, you get 90 days free of the support program, and that's enough time to get you through quite a few of the courses, the foundations and beginning of development, and really allow you to give your child a solid foundation. Or you can just pick and choose the milestones you want to work on with them, and you can just do it on your own without my help. But that course is just really, really valuable. And here I'm just working with her hips. Hips feel a little bit heavy. This is where sometimes I gotta go back and watch your video, make sure I'm doing it right.
Awesome. This is where the rotational touch really comes in. It can be a door and all, but again, you're not grabbing in any way meditation.
Okay, like this. And and two, why I like focusing on one exercise is because it's helping you just learn one aspect of the technique. Now, Michelle, she says, hey, do it on the table. Sometimes the floor is just the only place I can do it. And so if that's the best that you got, it's okay. Just if you can do a table, great, do a table. But I just don't have that available to me right now. And she's getting there a little bit. Now, what you want to do is that you want to push and make it happen. Sometimes I have to tell parents, hey, close your eyes, and you're going on what you feel. I'm not looking for her to do a movement. And so part of the reason why you may feel uncomfortable or why you're doing it wrong is because you're actually being too hard, and your baby is feeling uncomfortable, and you're feeling that discomfort. You're sensing that. She's mad. And she's sensing that. But she gets tired now. But there's a video of me working on my baby. If you have any questions or comments, comment. And if you want to get started with the Worried Parent Kit, it's in the description. Thanks.